Guten Morgen, meinen Freunden. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. My name is Christopher Belly. I'm a certified CPA accountant. I'm a long-term boglehead investor. I'm author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon. And I just had the most insane revelation about Tattooed Chef yesterday. So if you don't know, yesterday, I actually had a live taste test of Tattooed Trucker's sweaty, putrescent nutsack. I had the quinoa bowl, which at Walmart, you got the quinoa bowl and you got the vegetable mix. That's all you got. And it's segregated from every other soy boy food. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. Not bad in the slightest. Now, there's two camps of investors out there, okay? There's one group of investors that believes that if you just have a cool story, you have a narrative, you have a goal that a company is going to accomplish that's going to change the world and make it a better, more soy-filled place, then you buy stocks regardless of their fundamentals. That's one type of investor, okay? They build castles in the sky. I think it was Burton Malkiel that came up with that, maybe. Or no, actually it was it Keynes? Anyway, and then you got the other type of investor. Well, there's actually more types than that. There's the bogleheads, long-term boglehead investors. But when it comes to individual stocks, the other type of investor actually looks at the numbers. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. These investors want to get a positive return from a cash flow basis on their investments, which makes more sense to me. I don't know, maybe because I'm an accountant. Maybe I'm an idiot, you know? Instead of just looking at stock fundamentals, I should just buy stocks that go up in revenue, like most people do. But I fall into the second camp, okay? I like looking at the fundamentals, whereas other people, I won't name names, Cherry Financial Education, just looks at cool stories and buys highly speculative, small cap, money bleeding, share diluting trash. Now, I discovered something freaking amazing that is utterly hilarious about Tattooed Chef. Now, Jeremy Financial Education buys stocks that have high revenue growth. He places large speculative bets in very immature companies that could potentially go out of business, because if the company works out, it turns profitable, the stock probably will rocket up. I see what he's doing. He also buys heavily shorted stock because he hopes Wall Street bets will cause a short squeeze and he'll look like a genius. That's another thing. But there's a problem with that, okay? If you go dive a little bit into the financials, and I didn't notice this, but I looked at it before, but using that new website that I'm looking at, there's something really wrong with Tattooed Chef. Very, very freaking wrong. And it's also so hilarious that it blows my mind. So Jeremy's all about revenue. Every time he talks about Tattooed Chef, he talks about the revenue. Go watch his videos. Revenue by revenue, revenue by revenue, revenue by revenue. However, go on that website that I looked at when I was eating my quinoa bowl, BB plus food, and check it out. Because there's this thing, you can see the revenue growth from 2020 to 2021. It was roughly 43%. And then you look at the shares outstanding, which is the stock held by the public, common stock outstanding. That went up from 20 to 2021 by 100-something%. So using some quick math, simple math, I said, okay, in 2020, you had revenue per share of about $4.15. And don't quote me exactly, because I did this morning. And in 2021, you had revenue because of the share dilution of $2.60 or less per share. That is how bad dilution can screw you. So think about it. You are buying Tattooed Chef because their revenue growth. They have revenue growth, right? Revenue. So in 2020, you get $4 something revenue per share. Before expenses, of course, that doesn't matter. And the next year, you get less revenue per share. So if you bought Tattooed Trucker's ball sack in 2020, oh, it's the future, The next year, your ownership of the revenues has been diluted by roughly 50-something%, okay? So Tattooed Chef shareholders have seen no revenue growth. As an owner of the company, you are now entitled to less revenue, more than 50%, less than 50% than the year prior. So you basically just bought a company from your perspective, because you can look at the company as a whole, and yeah, their revenue's growing. 100% it's growing. From your perspective as an owner of that company, your share of the revenue has dropped by 50%. So Jeremy literally bought a stock where his ownership of the revenue has dropped by 50% or more. What an idiot! I'm telling you, that's what happens when you buy these small, crappy companies. You get diluted to heck and back because they burn cash. Just let's say, just think of it from a normal person's perspective. You have a job, and your job pays you $50K a year, but your expenses are $60K a year. Well, you need $10,000 of cash. Now, as an individual person, you can't issue stock. You have to go into debt. You have to borrow money. That's the long-term debt on the financing side of the statement of cash flows. But a company can issue stock and get money and give up partial ownership of the company for it. So imagine you need 10 grand a year and you're a company. Well, I can just give out more stock, and the original owners of the company are going to be entitled to less of your future revenue and profit in the future. Because maybe you'll be a doctor one day. You'll have $150,000 of positive cash flow. It's stupid, okay? So Tattooed Chef shareholders have experienced a 50% revenue decline year over year. Find me a company, Intel, slow growing, negative revenue growth. Any company that's not growing very quickly or declining. Ford, was Ford declining? All these companies that are losing revenue. I bet you Jeremy looks at those and he's like, that's a boring stock because their revenue is slow. But from an owner's perspective, you got way more revenue, or you lost way less revenue by buying a company that isn't diluting you than buying a company that is. He's an idiot. He lost 50% revenue growth. Uh-oh. I see a Tesla. I see a Tesla next to me. It's a Model 3. He's better than me. He's this little skinny dork too. But he must be richer than me because he has a big car payment. Oh, no, that's not. That's a beater right there. Yeah, I don't have a Tesla. I'm a loser. Anyway, so the whole point of this video is, I'm telling you, this guy's an idiot. He has no idea. You cannot look at revenue growth as a barometer. Take the revenue growth, or the total revenue, divide it by the number of shares outstanding. That's basically your revenue per share of stock that you own. And look at it year over year. That's actually a metric I'm going to start using for going into the future. Is how much revenue you get, revenue per share. Because if you look at it from that perspective, I bet you the majority of his stocks, he's losing revenue. He's not gaining revenue. The company gained revenue. He didn't gain revenue. He's an idiot. I'm gonna look at all his stocks and do that. That's gonna be freaking hilarious. I bet you me and VT, I have had more revenue growth as an owner of 9,000 plus stocks than Jeremy Lamoron, that thinks he's a genius because he buys highly speculative trash because he bought Tesla, got lucky, now he thinks he's smart. Freaking joke. All right, that's it. I gotta go to work. But go look at the math. Go to that website I was on and check it out for yourself, and you'll see that if the shares are growing faster than the revenue, you're not having revenue growth. You're having revenue declines. Sometimes massive revenue declines. All right, cheers.